actually, the two, it's funny that they both come up in the same paragraph here, but the two times that I've been, because I don't usually do single guest spots on TV series. When I go on, it's like The Beauty and the Beast, which started out as a three-part guest appearance thing, and then just sort of blossomed and blossomed, primarily because of the response, letter writing response. You know, they said, well, wait a minute, we got something interesting here, let's put it back and see if it's real, and it was. But the thing with Deep Space Nine, I had been brought on, and they said this is a setup for a reoccurring role, because even that show that I did, the role wasn't that big. And it was just essentially to begin to introduce the character. And then they went off on a completely different storyline. And 3 months later, they called me up and they said, okay, we're using you, are you available from here to here? And in the middle of negotiation, all of a sudden they went off in another direction again. Now, to be honest, as good a show as that is, and interesting, you know, it's not a show that I would have been tremendously happy doing, because I live about an hour and 20 minutes away from that studio, and you have to get there at 4 in the morning to start the makeup. And the makeup's about an hour and a half, and sometimes 2 hours. And then a full work day, and they work hard. And, you know, then I would have probably been getting home about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And that kind of work on a series, after a few months, really takes it out of you. And to be honest, my career over the last 13 years has been very secondary to my family. When my mom was sick and dying, both my dad and I quit work for about 2 years. We didn't work at all, we just stayed with her. And when we got pregnant with our daughter, I stopped working for about a year and a half. And literally when my wife was pregnant, we were together every hour of every day. And I started my vegetable garden so that I knew that she was getting fresh, raw food every day. She had literally well, I tell you, it was selfish. It's not, I mean, I got so much more out of that commitment than I feel I gave, that there was no sense of being virtuous about it at all. It was just, I was swept away. I'm sorry, what? No, but give me a couple of minutes, I'm aging fast. Well, of course, I'd always work with him. I mean, I'd go anywhere and do anything to spend time with him. And this is a perfect example of, I mean, in a sense, again, it was a one-shot episodic, but it meant that the two of us got to go to Australia together. And I've been there many, many times. I have many wonderful friends in Australia. And any excuse to get there, I will take. Anytime I can get somebody to pay my ticket. But the thing that was wonderful about that show is that because of the nature of the way they were shooting that segment, we never really went to work before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what we do is we get up, we would surf in Surface Paradise, which is one of the most beautiful beaches, and we'd get up at about 6, and he'd do his exercises, and I'd watch cartoons, you know. And we'd have breakfast together, and then literally walk on the beach for hours and hours talking, you know. And it was a priceless thing for me, because when we're in LA, you know, the phone's ringing, or somebody needs this, or somebody needs that, and we had the kind of conversations that you only really get to after you've been talking for a couple of hours without interruptions, you know. What springs to mind is my mom used to travel across country by train 7 days to spend a day-and-a-half weekend with it, and then back. And I thought that was sort of sweet. I thought that was kind of sweet. But it was a lovely experience working with him. The difficult thing for me was that there's a point in the script where I have to shove a gun in his face and call him old man. You're old man. Like that. And in the first couple of rehearsals, you know, I sort of had the gun over here. I dropped the old man without saying anything to the director came up and said, "Put the gun in his face. Call him old man." I said, "Fine." Old man! And it was a lovely, lovely, lovely experience. I mean, I've just gotten a signal, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm sitting here being extremely casual, and I probably, by time, only have about 5 more minutes. I mean, this is what happened last year. In a sense, I thought I'd been on for about 5 minutes, and it turned out to have been an hour. I don't know how long I've been on now. It seems like about 5 minutes. But why don't we take some quick questions, and I'll try to give you some satisfying but quick answers. Ready?
Well, we all enjoyed your performance as well, Dr. William Burch, Dr. Quinn, and I don't envy Jane choosing between you or Sully. It was a very difficult choice. But did you have any interesting experiences or something unusual happen while you were on the Quinn set?
Well, it was all interesting and nothing unusual in terms of, sound bites or anecdotes or anything like that. It was a wonderful set, a wonderful crew. We all got along really well, which was primarily my reason for being interested in continuing, because I love what the show's about and how it's presented. And when they had me star in the 2-hour Sweeps Week special that I did, the thing that I had a lot of respect for Beth about was that there was no violence or sex. And usually Sweeps Week, they just do everything they can to get people to sort of say, "Oh, let's tune in and see what they're doing." And she just had a really strong story with good, strong values and morals to it. I've got tremendous respect for that woman, tremendous respect. Now, God, do I really only have 5 minutes? No. But see, the thing is, I have to think in terms of what's happening next and other people, and I don't want to mess other people up. Let me run something by you, and I'll try to do it really quickly. And this goes back to what we were talking about in terms of letters and stuff. For the last 4 years, I've been working very hard with the local Native Americans from where I come from, the Chumash. They have become, again, like extended family to me, and I've been adopted into their clan. We've made laws. I'll give you an example. In the whole history of the United States of America, when cities hire a city archaeologist, it's always an Anglo and always an academic. I created the concept of the position of a Native American cultural resource manager. Up to that point, the city archaeologist would always individually hire Native American monitors to check out the individual archaeological sites, because by law, before you build a house, you have to have the archaeology done. And I felt that that was kind of racist and kind of demeaning and kind of not right. So the concept that I came up with was this Native American cultural resource manager. And for the first time in the history of America, the relatively new city of Malibu has an official Native American cultural resource manager who is equal to the city archaeologist, and they work together on each site. And when I was told that it's never happened before, I was appalled, to be honest. We've made some wonderful, wonderful laws to protect the sacred sites, and Malibu has such an extraordinary, rich history, and they don't appreciate it there. I mean, the great collections of Chumash artifacts are in Paris and in London and in Moscow, and there's nothing in Malibu. So, traditionally what happens is if they find a cemetery, they cover it. They get rid of it, putting the bones in shoe boxes and putting them in the construction trailer. I mean, stuff that just really shivers my tempers.